Hey everybody, I just wanted to spend a little bit of time introducing you and welcome you to EPSY 3213, Psychology of Adolescence. I will be your instructor for this course this semester. My name is Kyle Clayton. This is the second semester I've taught this course online, so I'm looking forward to doing that again. And I look forward to getting to know you all in this course, and I hope that you guys are looking forward to getting to know me and getting to know the material that we will be covering. So this video will be the longest one probably that I post this semester, and will probably be 10-12 minutes long. I do encourage you to watch the whole thing, as it will contain very important information and kind of instructions and things to look for, not only this week but going throughout the semester. I will post videos pretty much every week to update and kind of discuss kind of what we need to do and kind of what's going on. But those videos usually will only be a couple minutes long, and we'll typically look backwards on the week before and kind of rehash some of the things we did, some of the things we talked about, some of the things I noticed, but also look forward to that week and what we need to do, and if there's any big assignments coming up. But again, those usually will only be 3 to 5 minutes long. So they won't be near as long, but I do encourage you to watch those pretty much every time. So in this video, I want to spend a few minutes kind of briefly going through the syllabus and pointing out a few things to notice, and just kind of pointing out some key elements of our Brightspace page that we will utilize pretty much every week. And so I do want to make sure as well that you guys are using Brightspace. I know that Canvas is available for students, but that will be something the university fully transitions to in the fall. So for this course, we will continue using Brightspace. So make sure you're accessing Brightspace or D2L to access the information for this course. So the first thing I kind of want to point out to you is the textbook before we get into the syllabus. So this is what your textbook should look like. This is the cover. I know last semester students were able to get the bound version instead of the loose leaf version. So hopefully that's still the case. If you don't have the textbook yet, that's totally fine. As I have posted chapter 1, and I will post chapter 2 as well as we get into week 3 on that. So you don't have to rush to get a textbook. You still have time, but you will need to get a textbook because this is something we'll use every single week for this course. So make sure that you're getting the textbook, but also be aware you still have a little bit of time to get that. So it's not a rush. If you need to order one, there's time to do that. So I want to then now move on to the syllabus and kind of hit some highlights of that and make you aware of a few important things to notice in that. All right, so obviously at the top here, I have my office hours listed. So make sure if you need to come to my office that those are the times. Obviously, too, we can do stuff online or we can do by appointments as well. So I know this class is online. Not everybody's necessarily in Stillwater all the time. So that's available. The best way to communicate with me is via email. So I do teach a face-to-face section of this course as well. So make sure if you're emailing me, put this in the subject line, put EPSY 3213 online in the subject line. That helps keeps me organized, but it helps me also respond to you in the best manner in terms of time and in terms of the best answer. So make sure you're doing that because it will be the best way for us to communicate and the most beneficial way for us to communicate. Again, there's your textbook. Take time to get that. I encourage you guys to read through these different standards and statements, but I'm not going to stand up. I'm not going to sit here and read those to you. I trust that you can do that when you have time. So obviously the mode of instruction for this course is via Brightspace online. So yeah, you're encouraged to have your readings done by Monday. So here's your discussion board. That's going to be a big part of what we do. We'll do discussion board via Brightspace, and we'll do discussion board via Flipgrid as well. And this week, our discussion is through Flipgrid. So that'll be something we do. This is just a rubric to kind of give you some ideas of what is needed to earn specific points in your discussion. There's not a requirement on number of posts in terms of you have to post twice, respond once. I'll go more into that next week when we do a discussion board on Brightspace, a little bit in terms of what is expected. But it kind of gives you an idea if you want to earn your full 10 points, 6 points, whatever, kind of what's expected to get those points. So look over that. Like I said, next week we'll go a little bit more into that as well. Each week you'll have a quiz. Those quizzes will be due on Wednesday of every week. Keep that in mind at 11:59. So you'll take a total of 12 quizzes, but only 10 of the quizzes will be graded. So you'll be able to drop the 2 lowest grades you get on your quizzes. So keep that in mind too. And you'll get 2 attempts on the quizzes. And the scores will be averages if you use both. So if you get a 12 this first time and a 15, you don't get a 15 and you don't get a 12. You get the average. So keep that in mind. So if you get a 14, on the first attempt, the likelihood of improving your score it's not going to go up greatly if you get a 15 the next time, but you can technically hurt yourself. So you do get 2 attempts, but it's the average of those 2 attempts if you do choose to use both. There are 2 exams, a midterm and a final. The research paper, there are 4 different things you will turn in for your research paper. The first being your paper topic, which is only worth 5 points, but it's very important to do that so that you start out on track for your paper. So you can choose any topic you want, but it does need to relate to the development of adolescence, that's psychology. So stuff that we talk about in this textbook. It needs to relate directly to adolescence. Then the next thing you turn in is an article summary, 5 articles, then your rough draft and your final. I'm not going to go too much into that today. There is a rubric and there is a template for your article summaries on Brightspace. It may not be published yet, but it is there and will be available to you well before those assignments are due. And as those assignments come closer to being due, I'll go more into depth into kind of what I'm looking for and what's expected. So you also have the program survey. This is a newer thing we're doing. Week 2 and week 12, I believe, are when. Week 3 and week 12 are when those should be sent out. So I'll keep reminding you on that, and as soon as I know they've been sent, I'll make sure you guys know they've been sent so you can be looking for them. But I'll go more into that as it gets a little closer as well. The research requirement's kind of a big thing in this class. So there's 2 main ways to kind of fulfill that requirement. You can either do SONA or you can do an article summary. There's a appendix at the end of the syllabus that kind of outlines how to do that and where to go to do it. And if you have any questions, you can always email me. But this isn't 4 points on this. You do lose points, however, if you don't meet that. So you need to do at least 1 credit of research for this course. Obviously, this is an online class, so there isn't attendance taken in class. But attendance is basically taken through your participation in the discussion and through the quizzes. So make sure you're doing those things weekly. And I understand if stuff comes up, you have to miss a week, that's fine. Just don't make a habit of not finishing your assignments because it will hurt both your grade and your participation in the class. There is extra credit up to 24 points. I'll talk more about that throughout the semester, but there's various different ways to earn those points if you do choose so to do that. There's a total of 801 points in the class. Let's talk about special accommodations here. Academic integrity, don't do it. Don't cheat. Be academically have academic integrity. So don't cheat. It's not beneficial to you, and it's not beneficial to me either. So please don't cheat, and be respectful of others as well in that. So you can read more into what is considered cheating or not. Just try to not do it. If you're not sure if something you're doing on something is right or wrong, you can always ask. So just be aware of that. So then at the end of the syllabus, you have your schedule for the course. Look over that. It's got your due dates. It's got any kind of holidays. Obviously, the January 21st holiday doesn't affect us as much in an online class. So really, the main one to know on holidays is spring break. But it's got all your due dates for your midterm and your final and all of that. So keep a look on that. Keep an eye on that, as that will keep you informed on what you need to do in terms of readings and all of that. Then here's that appendix I was talking to you guys about. This is important for your research and for some extra credit as well, because you can earn extra credit through doing research as well. So just read through that. If you have any questions, email me. So the last thing I really kind of want to go over with you guys today is the Brightspace page. So this is the home page you guys will see. Obviously, there's not really anything posted there now, but all these videos, any updates or anything like that will be posted here in the news section. So always check that. You can set up in Brightspace to have an email sent to you when something's posted there, so that may be something worth doing. And stuff that's really important, like this week, I'll send out an email about this, or any changes that are made. I'll send out an email as well, just to make sure everybody gets that. And then in the content section, you'll see your syllabus attachment, your syllabus. Just the schedule is posted as well, and you will also see weekly content that you need to look at as well. That kind of gives you an outline of kind of what you need to do and what's expected of you. So here's your syllabus, here your schedule, here's a rubric for your discussion board. And then in week 1, so you'll always see this checklist for each week. So obviously go through the syllabus, take the syllabus quiz, kind of look through chapter 1. You don't need to necessarily read it because it's pretty short. And do your introductions, and then you'll have your discussions. So some weeks, like I said, we'll do discussions in Brightspace, and some weeks we'll do discussions through Flipgrid. So this week the discussion is through Flipgrid, and so when you get to the discussion page, if my internet was not so slow today, you would see that. When you get to the discussion page, you will click the link here for Flipgrid, enter this password it will ask for, and you will need to share this information here. You don't necessarily need to respond to anybody this week, although it's not a bad thing to show that you've acknowledged your peers and that you see and you understand. Oh, that's so and so, and oh, that's an interesting. So feel free to post or reply to others. Like I said, it's a kind thing, and it shows that you acknowledge that their video's there. But it's not a requirement this week in that. So that's the first thing you need to do. And then you also have your Dropbox is where we'll turn in the papers. And that's really all we'll use Dropbox for is the papers and any kind of article summaries for extra credit or the research participation. And then the next thing that we'll use pretty much every week is the quizzes. This is where we'll take all our exams and all our quizzes. So obviously your syllabus quiz is posted there. Most of the time our quizzes will be due on Wednesday. This quiz, I think, does have the due date set as Thursday, just because it's the first week, and I know things kind of hectic. And it's not a hard deadline on this, so don't, if it takes you longer in the week on the syllabus quiz, that's fine. But typically our quizzes will be due on Wednesday. So keep that in mind. So this quiz is set up just like any other quiz we'll have. It's worth 15 points. You'll have 2 attempts. You don't have to use both attempts. Keep that in mind. So if you do well the first time, you don't have to take it again. But if you don't do well and you feel like you need to take it again, you can. But keep in mind it does average those 2 scores. So keep that in mind as well. So that's kind of the big picture for today. I will probably post another shorter video later in the week just to kind of go over a few more things, a little more in depth maybe. But that's kind of the overview for today. So keep in mind for this week, you need to make sure you do your syllabus quiz and that you do your introductory Flipgrid discussion posts. And those are kind of the 2 things for this week as we get started. But I'll check back in with you guys probably on Wednesday with a little bit information on a few other things But in the meantime, if you have any questions on anything, email me, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. All right, you guys have